Image stabilization is the process where the camera reduces unwanted movement by moving either the lens elements themselves or the camera sensor or a combination of the two to counteract the motion that comes from hand holding a camera. This can result in smoother, more fluid video or longer exposure handheld photographs. Let's take a look at how to control image stabilization using native Panasonic lenses. The lens that I have on the camera right now is the 24-105. This lens has stabilization built into the lens itself. It also has a switch over here allowing me to turn that stabilization on and off. If I turn the stabilization off on the lens, it's important to know that this shuts down stabilization for the entire system. It's not just in the lens itself. That physical switch is just a convenient option to quickly turn that on or off. But not all lenses have stabilization built into them, and so therefore, of course, not all lenses have a switch. Let me swap out lenses here. This is the Panasonic 20 to 60 millimeter lens, which does not have stabilization built into the lens itself, and therefore no switch. So let's jump into the menu. The first thing I'll point out is that you'll find the exact same options under both the photo and the video menu. Under the photo menu, you'll find it under Others, Photo 1, and then Image Stabilizer. But if we back out of here and go down to the video mode, you'll find it under Others, Video, Image Stabilizer. And these are the exact same options. They're only listed in both places for a matter of convenience. If you're shooting just photo or just video, this way you don't need to jump back and forth between the menus. Let's take a look at these options. Under the first menu, Operation Mode, you can turn off the stabilizer. And if you have a lens with a switch on the lens, then this option won't be there. I can turn it off, or I can go to the normal mode or the panning auto mode. In the normal mode, the stabilizer is always working in all directions, up, down, left, right, and so on. In the auto mode, however, if I switch it over to auto panning, then the camera will automatically detect if I am panning the shot, meaning horizontal movement, and turn off stabilization for that direction. What you don't want is for the sensor to be fighting you as you're trying to move to track a subject. And this works whether you're holding the camera in landscape mode or vertically in portrait mode. I'll leave it in the auto mode. Next is when to activate. You can choose to have stabilization always on or only when you press the shutter halfway. That's up to you. The next three modes all say video next to them as they're unique to video. I want to show you something else though. I'm going to switch the camera into video mode. And you'll notice now that some of these options are no longer available. First of all, I no longer have the auto mode for panning because when you're shooting video, you're likely moving the camera around and you don't want the stabilizer fighting against you. And the when to activate mode is disabled completely. This is especially important if you have an external recorder on, as the camera needs to always be stabilizing the shots. Let's go through these other options. E-Stabilization for video can be turned on or off. This is a third level of stabilization. It is a digital or electronic stabilization where the image is actually punched into the sensor a little bit, and then the image shifts around the sensor to add stabilization. This can be combined with the optical stabilization and the sensor stabilization, giving you 3 levels of stabilization. It makes for an incredibly smooth shot. The one side effect of this is it does punch into your shot a little bit, giving you a slightly tighter crop of your image. Next is Boost I.S, again for video only. This is an extreme stabilization mode designed for simulating a locked shot, as if the camera was on a tripod. It will keep a very, very tight level of stabilization, but if you try to move the camera at all, it will fight against you. So you only want to use this if you're simulating a tripod shot, but you don't have a tripod. Next are the anamorphic video options. Whether you're shooting with native anamorphic lenses or with an anamorphic element that you mount onto a native Panasonic lens, you will need to set these anamorphic stabilization options. And we talk more about those in a video dedicated to anamorphic lenses. And those are the options you have for image stabilization with native Panasonic lenses.
Panasonic.